Hey gaming fans, so today's another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile, and this one is Butterspy's. So pretty much it's more of a casual deck, obviously, and there isn't a whole lot of Butterspy's to really build anything much beyond this, but let's get to the deck. So we got 3 of the Blue Mountain Butterspy. So this is your extender, essentially, of the deck. It cannot be normal summoned or set, which can be problematic if it's the only monster you draw. And but when you normal summon a warrior-type monster, you could special summon this card from your hand, and it cannot be used as a synchro material. But that's okay, because we don't play any tuners in this deck anyways. It's basically an Xyz deck. So the next Butterspy is once per turn, Morpho Butterspy, I got 3 of those. So once per turn, when the battle position of an opponent's monster is changed, except the damage step, you can target one of those monsters. It loses 1,000 attack and defense. I didn't really bother about that effect. We're not really going to play around with that because, you know, then you'd have to play enemy controllers and stuff like that just to do that. It doesn't seem worth it. It's really in here because it's a Butterspy. And the last of the Butterspies that I know of, I don't know if any more have ever been printed or created, but this is Swallowtail Butterspy. This is the biggest one. It's 1800 attack. When another monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses attack equal to the battle damage inflicted. So that could be okay for what it is, but mainly you're going to be using these guys as Xyz material. And that's it for the Butterspies. And so I thought, you know, what's going to complement these guys and, you know, work together. So I figured it needs warriors, so let's go into the Satellar Knights. So I got 2 of the Satellar Knight Vega. So pretty much when this card is summoned, you can special summon 1 Tellar Knight monster from your hand, except a Vega, so you gotta be careful. And you can only use the effect of once per turn. But yeah, I mean, again, it's for the extenders. The other one I play is Satellar Knight Procyon, is that how you say it? If this card is summoned, you could send 1 Tellar Knight monster from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, draw 1 card. So pretty simple effect. Then we're playing 3 of the Satellar Knight Altair. This is probably one of your better ones. When this card is summoned, you could target 1 Tellar Knight monster in your graveyard, except a copy of himself, and special summon that monster in defense position, but monsters you can control cannot attack for the rest of this turn except for Tellar Knight monsters. So you gotta be, you know, vigilant on that as well, that you're not gonna be able to attack unless you're playing with just the Stellar Knights. And then we got 3 of the Unokalhali. I don't know how to say that. So basically, if this card is summoned, you could send 1 Tellar Knight monster from your deck to the graveyard, except a copy of itself, and you can only use it once per turn. So you're probably going to be sending other Stellar Knights to set up for your Altair plays. And then you can go into an Xyz play. And so the reason why I went with Tellar Knights is because they're light monster, and your Butterspies are dark monsters, so we're playing Chaos. So I got 2 Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginnings. And that makes the whole deck warriors, so it kind of works together, and you know, you got your dark and your lights, and they're all warrior monsters. So that's it for the monster lineup for your Butterspies and your Tellar Knights. So for the spells, we're playing 1 Upstart Goblin, just to make it a 39 card deck. 1 Reinforcements of the Army, because that's all we're allowed to play, unfortunately. 2, the Warrior Returning Alive, because you are playing a lot of warriors that you would like to return to your hand to reuse their effects. Like, you might want to grab the Blue Mountain Butterspy if you already have a Swallowtail or something in your hand, and then you can normal and then special. Same with the Tellar Knights. You might want to grab them just because you can get an extra special summon off of them. Then we have an Instant Fusion, also to help as an extender, just to get another warrior onto the field. Monster Reborn, self-explanatory. You get to take a monster from any graveyard and summon it. 2 double summons, just in case you need to do an extra normal summon. Foolish Burial. This is going to work for your Tellar Knights mostly. But also, if you have the warrior returning alive, it kind of is, it's a 2-card combo to get the warrior you need, but, it could come in handy. Also for your chaos, if you need a dark or a light in the graveyard, you throw whatever you need in there. And then just for some little bit of control, I threw in Forbidden Chalices, just in case your opponent's board has some negate monsters on the field or something that can disrupt your Xyz plays. So just to shut them down. I mean, it also gives a power boost if you need it. And that's it for the spells. Let's get into the traps. So again, just for more control, Lost Wind. You just target a face-up special summon monster on the field, negate its effects. Also, its original attack is halved. So this can also help shut down your opponent's monsters if you need to. And then for the search of the deck, because we only have 1 reinforcements, I put in Exchange of Night and Day, which it essentially allows you to trade a light warrior in your hand for a dark warrior in your deck, and vice versa. You can exchange a dark warrior in your hand for a light warrior in your deck. So it's going to set up your deck, your graveyard nicely for your chaos monsters, and it can search out any of your cards pretty much. You can send any dark monster you want from your hand, so any of your Butterspies, to grab the Blackluster Soldier, for instance. And because we're playing all warriors, I decided to go with Rivalry of the Warlords, because your whole deck is pretty much the same monster type, so this will never hurt you, and it will probably hurt your opponent. And the extra deck, I tried to make it as pure warrior as I could. So, onto the extra deck. The reason to play the Butterspies is we have 2 of Photon Alexandra Queen. So this is obviously made for Butterspies because you need 2 level 4 Butterspy monsters to summon it. But it's pretty powerful because you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and return all monsters on the field to the hand, then inflict 300 damage to each player for each card returned to their hand. So again, this is why we might want to shut down some of the opponent's monster effects, because if they have something that can negate that, you could shut down the effect. Obviously, it's not going to stop hand traps, but if they have a Veiler, they have a Veiler. But, at least it's still sitting on a 2400 body, and it's a warrior. Also, it's a light monster, so if it gets destroyed, it's, material for your Blackluster. Then for some of the other warrior monsters in your extra deck, Blade Armor Ninja, it's just 2 warrior monsters, and you can make a second attack with this guy. I threw in Heroic Champion Excalibur, because he can double his attack, become a 4000 attacker. So that's always great that he could just run over anything. Gagaga Cowboy, again, another warrior. This is always good to end games because of his damage effect. Also pretty good attacking. Kind of a butterfly. Photon Palpatry, whatever. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, target 1 defense position monster on the field, change it to face-up attack position, and if you do, it loses 600 attack. So I guess it does work in tandem with that other Butterspy that gets an effect when a monster is changed. So, it could work, and it's a warrior. Starliege Paladinamo. 2 level 4 light monsters. So this could be made from your Tellarknights, and this has a pretty good effect too. Then we got Utopia, and I decided, well, you're not always going to have that Rivalry of the Warlords out, so I just threw in some stuff like Digesto Emerald and Castell, which are not warriors. And because we're playing Instant Fusion, 1 level 4 warrior, Carabolna warrior, just because it's an instant fusion target. Unfortunately, he's Earth, so it doesn't help with the Chaos Engine, but, I mean, you can't win them all. And then I just threw in, like, 3, whatever Link monsters I had. But there are obviously some better choices out there, and I don't know if there's how many warrior Links there are, but I just threw in, like, Power Code Talker, Underclock Taker, and Borrowlord Dragon, just because, you might be able to summon them, as long as you don't have this out on the field. So, and that's pretty much it. That's what I could come up with for the Butterspies. I mean, I don't think there's enough of them to fully make a deck just based on them yet. if they decide to continue them. Now, there are some cards I left out that I was trying to make them work. Moonlit Palpulin, because he's a light monster, he's an insect, and if he's sent to the graveyard, well, it's when he's sent to the graveyard you can, so you can miss the timing on him, which is pain. You can add a level 4 or lower Butterspy monster from your deck to your hand, but it just didn't work with the deck because it's all warriors, and I was trying to make this guy work as well, but again, it didn't really work because he's a wind monster. He requires insects to use his effect. I mean, you can make him with any monsters, but his effect only goes off when you use insects, which this guy is, but I couldn't find any other insects that would really work with this deck. Unfortunately, especially none that were like light monsters that would help with the dark and light. So yeah, I couldn't get these guys in there. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much the deck. Let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below, suggestions on you know, what cards I could add in here and what you would take out, especially for the extra deck. I know there's a lot of missing, but you know, it's a fun casual deck. That's all really it is too. Anyways, hope you like the deck. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.